some of these verses already, but we're going to continue down on a little bit and hear about mercy and giving. So this passage is going to cover both of the gifts, and then we'll talk about giving in just a moment. So Romans chapter 12 and verse number 5. Romans chapter 12 and verse number 5. So we, being many, are one body in Christ, and every one members of one another, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith, or ministry, let us wait on our ministering, or he that teacheth on teaching. Do you guys recognize these gifts? These are those gifts that are on our list. Or he that exhorteth on exhortation, he that giveth, let him do it with simplicity. He that ruleth with diligence, that's the administration, by the way. And he that showeth mercy with cheerfulness. Let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil, cleave to that which is good, be kindly affectioned one to another with brotherly love, in honor preferring one another, not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer, distributing to the necessity of the saints, given to hospitality. Bless them which persecute you, bless and curse not, rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. And so I read two verses here, I think two verses here apply to givers. That verse number 15, rejoice with them that do rejoice and weep with them that weep. You mercy showers, that's your verse. All right, you folks that are high in mercy, that's what you do already. Now, the rest of us should do that. The rest of us should strive to exercise all of these other gifts, but mercy showers, your strength is rejoicing with them that do rejoice and weep with them that weep. All right? You know, when I'm dealing with a family that just lost a loved one, I'm not a crier. Let me tell you when I do. It's when I'm really tired, and it's when I'm preaching about the love of Christ. That affects me. But if somebody has lost a loved one, the only thing I can do is give you a shoulder to cry on. And I'll pat your back, and I'll hug you, and hold you as long as you need to be held. But you mercy showers, in a moment, you're weeping with whoever's weeping. And you're rejoicing with those that are rejoicing. Now, I'll rejoice with you. I'll hoot and holler. Woo! But that's all you're going to get. And so you mercy showers, verse number 15 is your verse. All right, that's your description. You rejoice with those that rejoice. You weep with those who weep. All right, let's talk about giving, and then we're going to come back to these verses because there were two verses there in this passage that spoke about givers, and so we'll read about giving, and then we'll come back to that. The Greek word is metadidomai. Metadidomai means to give over, to share, to give to impart. As a giver, you have the Spirit-given capacity to serve and desire to serve God by giving your material resources far beyond the tithe to further the work of God. You have a strong desire to meet the financial needs of your fellow Christians and church members. As a giver, you probably feel that the best way you can give of yourself is to give of your material gain for the work of God. You give without public recognition and usually do not want people to know who you are, nor how much is given. You disapprove of anyone who gives for the wrong motive. Your motive is to further the work of God and to meet real needs, not to show off or to get something in return. You are usually well organized, keep to yourself, have an accurate self-image, are interested in helping people, are a conscientious and you are conscientious and self-disciplined. You may also have the ability to make money. You are sensitive to the financial and material needs of others, alert to needs others overlook, ready to give, want your gift to be of high quality, make decisions quickly concerning finances, want to ensure your gift is used properly, and may have a burden for missions. Chances are your spouse has the gift of giving too. My wife doesn't have that gift. So you know what that means? And it's not because we don't want to, it's because we just don't have the means. I believe most of us would, as soon as we hear somebody has a need, we'd want to jump in and help. Most of us have the issue of we just don't have the means. But this person, this one that has the gift of giving, also has the gift of the ability to make the money. And so he's got both of them. He's got the means, and then he's also got the desire. By the way, that's proper. I'm thinking of folks that have the means and they have the improper view of charity and generosity, and they lost their minds. And I'm thinking of Howard Hughes. Do you remember him? Used to be a brilliant guy. He built an airplane called the Spruce Goose, and it was a wonder at the time. And like I said, he was brilliant. However, he hoarded his money, and then he ended up staying in his own home, being a recluse, and going to the bathroom in a jar because he was afraid of germs. And he just kind of totally lost all of his money. Now, lost his mind. Now, opposite of that, you've heard of J.C. Penney. He would give 90% of his income to the church and live off of 10%. And you guys know anything about J.C. Penney? How many of you gone to his store? And he died a good ripe old age in his right mind. So one was generous, one was not. All right. So is there a correlation? Could be. Here's some of the negative sides. There's 2 paragraphs here. Be careful not to measure other Christian spirituality by the amount of their giving or their success by the amount of their material assets. So don't look at other and say, the Joneses are winning. Don't look at them and say, oh, they're winning and they got to be more spiritual because they have and I don't. Realize that through God, that though God has called everyone to give, He has not called everyone to give as you do. You are sometimes misunderstood as being materialistic because of your emphasis on money. Some people think you try to control them with your money and may be jealous of you. Beware of Satan's attack on your gift. He can cause pride because of the amounts you give, blindness to spiritual needs and qualities and to other areas of service, and discontent when decisions are made contrary to your interests. Do not develop a critical attitude of those who are not able to give. Make sure you have the right motives for giving and serving Christ. Do not mistake your burden for giving to missions as a call to the mission field. Do not neglect to give to the necessity of other Christians by giving only to church projects. Remember, you can still give even if it's not tax deductible. And so those are just some of the attacks and the negative side of the gift of giving. Now, anybody here high on giving? So high would be 12 or more, because 24 was the limit, so we'll say more than half or more. Any givers here? A 9. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. If I had it, I would give. I have the desire to help. And by the way, as the pastor of the church, when somebody comes to me with a need, I'm presenting it to the church. We've done this several times. Specifically, since my wife brought up Joni, several years ago, she had air conditioning problems, and we ended up helping her with that. She had car battery problems. We ended up buying her a car battery. And so we're all about helping out. And I'm all about helping out with your funds, with your tithes and your offerings. By the way, when I say you, I'm doing it too. And so, yours was a 16? Oh man, that means I'm a giver too. Because your spouse is, oh, mine's right here, I think. Let's see if I'm a giver. Didn't I put, oh, here it is. Oh man.
Are you a giver?
I'm a 18.
Whoa.
I'm an 18.
Wow.
By the way, my mercy was 6. Am I not merciful? Nope. Yeah, all of mine are, kind of right there, and then psst.
I don't have any that go way high.
That's fine. Don't look at the number. Look at how they relate one to another. If you're pretty close, then you're well balanced.
Pastoring, showing mercy, and serving are all right 16 and 15.
Those are all 3 gifts that are grouped together usually. I would be surprised if prophecy was high and you had serving and pastor shepherding and mercy. Yeah, no. That's definitely not. Now, prophecy and exhortation would be 2 gifts that would go together. And probably administration. And probably administration would be high on that. So my mercy is really the one that's out of place. Now, administration, which is that bottom one. Ruling, which we just read in this passage, I'm maxed.
David's really high in teaching. That's awesome. Really, really high, 22.
Yeah, but he doesn't listen very well.
Well, he forgot his hearing aids. He can't.
No, he's got headphones on now. He can hear me just fine.
He's surprised.
All right, let's look at how we can use our gift, and then we'll go back to Romans chapter 5. How to use it. Your gift is welcome anywhere. Large or small amounts of money are needed. By the way, the gift of giving is always needed anywhere. Only one time in the history of recorded history has any man ever said, stop giving. Moses is the only man that stopped everybody from giving. They had gotten so much for the tabernacle that Moses had to tell everybody to stop giving. He's the only one in the history of mankind. Everybody else needs givers. Okay? By the way, we're purchasing a building, so if you have the gift of giving and you just only have, $660,000 laying around, this is the time to get, well, we have renovations and everything, so I'm just going to say the full amount. And so if you have gifts and you have, the money just laying around, I got a project for you. All right? And it says right here, large or small amounts of money. And don't you think that $660,000 sounds like a large amount?
Yeah.
It sounds like a large amount, doesn't it? Is it though?
Not to God, it's not.
I'm not even talking about God. The poverty level in our country is if you're below 80,000. I don't think I've ever. I think there was a short time on my ministry where I made half that. And I had 3 jobs. And I think there was one time in my life that I had half that. And so, if the poverty level of America is 80,000 or lower, do you think there's money just sitting around? So really, 660,000 is, 6 years for somebody. It continues on and says you can serve as a member of a finance or budget committee or a missions or building committee. We don't do committees here, by the way. I'm not for committees. You know why I'm not for committees? However many members are in that committee, I'm going to have twice that in opinions. And you never get anything done. And so you know what I am about? I am about talking to the church and saying, hey, this is the direction we would like to go. Would you like to go in that direction or not? How many opinions are in that? There's two, yes or no. Okay, that's all I'm looking for is a yes or a no. Because I've done the research. If I present something to you, I've done the research. And I'm not going to present something to you that I've not looked into. And we've been in churches before that were run by committees, and I'm definitely not for that. I don't find committees in the scriptures. I don't find anywhere where Jesus went up to the committee of the 12 and said, hey, I feel like going to Capernaum. Can I go? What did he say? Yeah, he said, I must needs go through Samaria. You guys remember that verse? Do you think any of those 12 Jewish committee members wanted to go to Samaria? No, because Samaria is a country full of their enemies. They hated them. Anyways, I got off topic there for a second. You would do great service as a poverty rescue mission, a migrant mission, committee center. See, there's the migrants again. You could sponsor and underwrite special projects, radio or TV ministries. Always be aware and willing to meet needs of an individual apart from programs. In this sense, you could serve on a benevolence committee or give to support such a ministry. You may want to support a men's or women's ministry, a shelter for temporarily unemployed and homeless, or the abused, or contribute to children who do not have parents. So the gift of giving really can be used in a whole bunch of different ways. All right, the two verses in Romans chapter 12 that we'll look at. Verse number 8. He that exhorteth on exhortation, he that giveth, let him do it with simplicity. In the scriptures, and it just now came to me, so I don't have it in my notes, and I don't know exactly where it is. But the Lord says, don't toot your own horn. When you're going to give, don't blow your own trumpet. Let's say you had $660,000 just laying around, like I think Jordan does, but he's holding out on me. You shouldn't come into the church, Pastor, I got $660,000 I'd like to give, plus I'd like to give a couple of $100,000 more because, you want to pave the parking lot and we want to put stripes on there and we're thinking about painting the outside of the building. So I'm going to give, you know what? I'm going to give $1 million. All right? That's tooting your own horn. That's letting everybody know. All right, do it with simplicity. All right, so what Jordan should do is just come to me and say, Pastor, yes, I have been holding out on you. I got $1 million sitting aside just waiting for you. And then his wife's going to kill him. Because, are you a giver too?
She's a giver. Mine wasn't super high, but I am.
Okay. So would you be okay with that? Yeah. So Jordan's got $1 million stashed away and he hadn't let you know about it. Are you okay with that?
He's a buyer a house first.
Yeah, me either. I'm just saying. I'm me either. I'm on your side. By the way, I'm totally messing around. Okay, totally messing around. But the giver's going to do it with simplicity, and he's not going to toot his own horn. Right? He is going to pull me aside if it's going to be a large gift, or he's just going to put it in an envelope. And he's probably not even going to put his name on it. He's just going to drop it in the envelope, in the offering plate. So do it with simplicity. The other one that I saw was verse number 13, distributing to the necessity of saints. We saw going down through the description here that a giver is going to help out. A giver is inclined to help out church projects. What a giver needs to be is inclined to also help individuals. Okay? And we read in the description that they mostly want to go for the projects. However, do any of you have any needs? You know, is there needs out there? Yes. All right. We're individuals, are we not? Okay. And so when a giver wants to give, and by the way, we have some here, they come to me and they ask me, you know, so-and-so and such, and I'm like, we got individuals. Let's help individuals. That's better than, you know, doing a project. And so we need to be, if you have the gift of giving, you need to be well balanced in the projects and individuals. All right, we need to care about people. We also need to care about their spiritual well-being and not just their mouths being fed. All right, so I saw those two verses for the gift of giving. Do it simply or with simplicity, and then distributing to the necessity of the saints. All right, questions or comments about mercy and giving? Mercy, giving. Merciful givers?
So did you say that generally the mercy and the giving are both high?
No.
Because they kind of go hand in hand. No? You don't have to be merciful.
I did not say that. No, mercy, let's see, they were high on, what were the other gifts? Maybe it was down here. Service. So mercy and serving would be two that give, would be two that work well together.
That's 15 and 16 on
Now my serving is 18. So I'm gonna serve you without mercy.
I'm going to hate you while I'm serving you.
Right? If we talk about foot washing, which I'm not ever going to do, no, I'll be scrubbing your foot with vehemence. Can't believe that Tenji stuck her foot in here. Do you know what she walked through before she came and let me wash her foot? She on purpose went through the field, the field and stuff. So while serving, my mercy, that's probably why I have 6 on mercy, is because I have 18 in serving. So my mercy may rise to the occasion, but I am not naturally merciful.
Covet the best gifts.
Yeah. All right. Yes?
No, I'm saying
Yep.
to myself. That's what the Bible says. Go on the best.
I think that what I've seen is if God lays it on your heart to help somebody,
Mm-hmm.
He's already prepared you with enough to give.
And yes, I already made provision. I agree with that. I agree with that.
But you don't necessarily have a lot of money.
Right. Right. No, we were talking about this with somebody before when we were in Bible school. We had nothing. You know, I've told you several times we got down to 1 can of Jack mackerel in our house. And I went through, I think, 7 jobs. And the reason why I did 7 was because 4 of them didn't pay. One was just physically brutal on me. And then I had 2 brothers fighting over me because I was a computer technician. And one brother hired me to work on his Apple products, and then his brother told me to start up a internet company. And so those 2 jobs were good, but that was late in my Bible college career. And so there was a lot of times when we didn't have. However, in our church, we had what was called the grocery bandit. So you would come out to your car after church, and there would be these bags of grocery in your car. And all of us were in Bible college, so none of us had money. But the Lord laid somebody on our heart for us to do the same thing around Thanksgiving time, and so we took it a step further. We bought all the Thanksgiving stuff. We didn't have it, but we bought all the Thanksgiving stuff. And it was at night, because I remember it being dark, and we snuck up to their front porch, and we laid the bags down on their front porch, and then we rang the doorbell, and we booked it out of there. We just ran. I was younger then, I could run. And so we ran as fast as we could so nobody could see who it was. You know, that's what he's talking about, giving, even though you don't have the means. But God gives the provision for that. And so, yes, absolutely. I believe God will provide. If you're willing, God will make provision for you to be able to do it. All right, any other questions or comments? You stopped the streaming, right?